My name is Kurt Meyer. I serve as chair of the ADA Executive Committee, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our 2024 ADA fundraising event, a combination in-person virtual gathering, just as ADA people have been coming together since 1947. Oh, what joy. This event is special for several reasons. First, it's a celebration of ADA values, reflected in the roster of honorees we're going to pay homage to today. Second, it's a celebration of achievement, of making a difference, of leading with our thoughts, our words, and of course our deeds. This has been ADA for 77 years, the first, the oldest, the most durable of all such progressive organizations. I'm so very proud of what ADA is and has done. And third, it's shining our bright light out into an uncertain future. We have more important elections to engage in and to win. And yes, that requires resources. And if you haven't already shed some meaningful dollars our way, meaningful is for you to determine, we'll do our best to coax you in this direction. My dear friends, our 2024 program that you're now watching is terrific. And I know that because we are honoring the best of the best. Okay, I've said that every year, but this year I really mean it. Imagine activist Evelyn Jones Rich, journalist Eugene Robinson, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, and labor leader Brian Bryant. You'll hear from me again later in this program, but as for now, two thoughts. Thanks for being with us, and on with this great show.
It's Jamie Raskin coming to you from Capitol Hill. I represent Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District. I'm a big fan of ADA, your glorious history, your commitment to your middle name, democracy, everything you're doing to fight the kleptocrats and the autocrats and the theocrats and the bullies and the despots and the dictators and the enemies of strong political and economic democracy in America. So these are the times that try men and women's souls. And so, we don't need any summer soldiers and sunshine patriots. We need the enduring long-term distance runner Democratic patriots like you guys. So thank you.
As International President of the 600,000-member International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, I am so grateful to be recognized by Americans for Democratic Action. It is truly humbling to receive the Ralph Chavez Award from an organization that has fought so tirelessly for social justice, economic equality, and the fundamental rights of all Americans. I accept this honor on behalf of the many dedicated members of the IAM Union. Our union has always stood for the principles that the ADA champions: fairness, democracy, and the power of collective action. And our members are the backbone of America. We build the planes we fly in, the trains we ride on, and work in the industries that keep our nation safe and running. But our work is far from over. In a time when workers' rights are constantly threatened, we must remain vigilant and continue to fight for fair wages, safe working conditions, and the right to organize. We must also ensure that every worker, regardless of their background, has a voice in our democracy, which is under constant threat. A threat that many of the current and past leadership of the ADA have always risen up against. Your commitment to the progressive values and your unwavering support for working people inspires us all. Together, we can build a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. I look forward to the continued partnership between the IAM and the ADA as we work together to create a more just and equitable society. Thank you once again for this incredible honor.
Look around you. You are not alone. Behold your numbers as far as the eye can see. You are working men and women who have come here with your friends and your allies because you care deeply about the course of your country. Your testimony must be heard.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
We meet today in freedom's cause and raise our voices high. We join our hands in union strong to battle or to die.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
Well, look, my comrades, see the Union banners waving high. Reinforcements now appearing, victory is nigh.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
Little banjo now.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
We see our numbers, they're still increasing, and hear the bugle blow. By our union, we will triumph over every foe.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
I got one now.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come.
Well, fierce and long the battle rages, but we will not fear. Help will come whene'er it's needed. Cheer, my comrades, cheer.
Hold the fort, for we are coming. Union workers, be strong. Side by side, we'll battle onward. Victory will come. Hold the fort.
Let us all pledge to each other to return to our communities and to build a new mandate for a just and humane America in the spirit of solidarity forever.
Good evening, honorees, ladies, and gentlemen. I am Jim Bishop of Columbus, Ohio, an ADA board member and former chairman of the National Executive Committee. It is my privilege and honor to speak to you this evening about our honoree, Kurt Meyer. Kurt is a fundraiser, administrator, mentor to many, organizer, strategist, coalition builder, Northern Iowa activist, public servant, politician, Democrat, and a liberal. He is an historian, Native American relic collector, active church member, soloist, organist, organ repairer, cook, world traveler, sports fan, and a loving brother, husband, father, and a very happy grandpa. And he does all of this par excellent. Kurt is a longtime ADA member and chairman of its National Executive Committee for a few more hours, maybe days. Having read most of his more than 210 columns, I know that Kurt loves words, so I'll use a few more to describe his work for ADA. Kurt leads ADA splendidly. He conducts board meetings energetically, enthusiastically, effectively, and fairly, and usually in compliance with Robert's Rules of Order. Because we are ADAers, Kurt has to use lots of understanding, patience, diplomacy, and considerable tolerance. Kurt is quite generous to ADA with his time and resources. He provides historical and political insights, inspiration, and creativity, and demonstrates model actions. Some of you will recall his speaking at a gala about building a bigger boat, and his bringing to that event more guests than all the rest of us combined. During tough time, Kurt brings the needed realism and encouragement. He is very understanding and supportive of ADA's staff. He is also, for many of us, a caring friend for which we are deeply grateful. Kurt has served as ADA's National Executive Committee chairperson for 7 years, longer, we believe, than anyone else. We want him to enjoy more time with his family and other activities. However, we want and need his continued wisdom, advice, and counsel. With Kurt's retiring, I cannot use the word endless. However, other words are appropriate in this summary. As folks of the younger generation say, Kurt is awesome. From the sports world, and by unanimous vote of a few of his predecessors, Kurt Meyer is the GOAT, the greatest of all time National Executive Committee chairperson. Kurt, all of us raise a toast to you this evening to thank you wholeheartedly and to honor you as ADA's own timeless liberal. Thank you very much.
Hello again. I firmly believe that the core of any meaningful action, the like of which ADA has been about for many years, is relationships. Relationships with people of common purpose who work together, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes a bit less so, to accomplish mighty objectives. I've probably studied ADA history more than most watching this program, but I don't think this particular point has been made often enough. Relationships, people banding together. Without relationships, our efforts fade like the morning dew. Without the support of others, our energy flags. We run out of fuel. Without collaborative effort, our fervor ebbs as the tide recedes. I'm a very modest recipient of the Timeless Liberal Award. Many of my dear ADA friends have been more faithful, more generous, more persistent. I know who you are, for you have lifted my game. I am so grateful. You have motivated me. I am in your debt. You have supported me and supported ADA. I cannot thank you enough. And now you honor me by naming me as your latest Timeless Liberal. Suffice to say, I'm deeply appreciative. All I can say is it's been a pleasure. Thank you from my very full heart.
It's not the time to back off. It's the time to press forward. That's what ADA has always been about. That's what makes me so enthusiastic to continue to be a member of ADA as I have been for many years. So thank you for letting me be part of this, but also thank you for everything you do to support ADA.
Hi, I'm Jamal Watson, and it is my pleasure to present ADA's Win Newman Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. Evelyn Jones Rich. Dr. Rich, or Evie as we all know her, has been a devoted activist in the fight for social justice. but Evie has also carved out a distinguished career as an educator, humanitarian, foundation executive, and an advocate for senior citizens. Born in my hometown of Philadelphia, Dr. Rich joined Students for Democratic Action, SDA, as a college student at Bryn Mawr College, and she has embraced the principles of liberalism, progressivism ever since. She and her late husband, Marvin, were dedicated members of the Congress of Racial Equality, and it was through this organization that they developed and honed the guiding principles of nonviolent direct action to improve our nation and indeed our world. A fierce advocate for global diversity, Evie has used her prominence to petition for adequate school funding, to decrease healthcare disparities, and to help elect progressives to office. I first met Evie and Marvin when I became chair of the Youth for Democratic Action, the youth arm of ADA, some 30 years ago. Wow, it's hard to believe it's been that long. They were both so kind and generous to me as I progressed through Georgetown University as an undergraduate student. So tonight, please join me in saluting Dr. Evelyn Jones Rich for her tireless advocacy on behalf of others and for being this year's recipient of the Win Newman Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Evie. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Evie Rich, and I have been a member of ADA, believe it or not, for 74 years. And I joined really SDA my first day at Bryn Mawr College when they had a series of tests for incoming freshmen. And I failed the posture test. I failed the swimming test. I failed the hygiene test. And so I said to myself, well, there has to be a test that I can pass. And sure enough, it was the public speaking test, where I spoke in front of fellow students for like 3 minutes, opposing the Walter Immigration Act of 1950. That's what it was, 1950. And so let me begin. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. They are the opening words to the Negro National Anthem by James Weldon Johnson. And when I think of ADA, that's what I think of to begin with. The opening stanza of the now Black Negro National Anthem, because ADA has been a central theme in my life ever since 1950 when I joined. Okay, now, over those 74 years, I have testified in many different venues about issues which touch on the lives of progressives and the larger public. And when I do, I usually open with a statement like this. New York City ADA, I live in New York City, is a chapter of National ADA, Americans for Democratic Action, which is a liberal political organization dedicated to building a just society through education and political action. So that's what ADA is all about from my perspective, education and political action. And over the years, I've seen that play out. So let me continue by first rewarding, acknowledging, congratulating my fellow honorees. And I understand that there are 4 of them. Eugene Robinson, Debbie Dingell, Brian Bryant, and Kurt Meyer. Okay. And I looked up Eugene Robinson and I congratulate him on his old Pulitzer. And I looked at one of the books he's written when he was in Brazil. I was thrilled to read about Debbie Dingell because she's on the same page with me. I'm talking about health care and the environment. And Brian Bryant is the president of the IAM, the Machinists Union. So I welcome that because I'm in the middle of a fight in the union movement. And then Kurt Meyer, who is the chair of the executive committee of ADA. And of course, that reminds me of Marvin, my husband, who I met in ADA and who was in, over the years, one of his assignments was to be the chair of the executive committee of ADA. So I know all about that. Now, let me go on and say, I'm also thrilled to get the Win Newman Lifetime Achievement Award. Because usually when they give you awards, you never know the person after whom the award is named. You just know yourself and you wonder whether or not you're really deserving. I knew Win Newman. And let me tell you, I knew him for a long time in ADA. He was a labor lawyer and a labor lawyer par excellence. He epitomized all of the things that a young person imagines when it comes to effective labor lawyers. And he worked for and was the counsel for a wide range of unions, and his work in support of pay equity, fairness for women in the workplace resonates with me and continues to do so. And of course, I knew Ellie, his wife, and I understand he had 3 sons, but I only knew Sandy. And even after Win died, I continued knowing Sandy for all kinds of reasons. And that family was a really superb family. Now, I joined SDA in 1950. And in those days, they had some real stars. Hubert Humphrey was one of them. And I remember even when I was 15, they had the Democratic National Convention, I think in Atlantic City, I'm not sure. But he's the one who proposed the civil rights plank. And I said, oh my God, here's a white person standing up for Black people. Well, then the term was Negro. But let me tell you, when I joined ADA and I met him, I was delighted. And then not only was there Hubert Humphrey, there was Joe Rao and Bob Nathan. These may be people you never heard of, but they were very important to us as members of SDA, Students for Democratic Action. There was also Mrs. Roosevelt, and we would have, ADA would have these board meetings in the Willard Hotel of Washington, D.C. And as members of SDA, we had seats on the board. So we went to these meetings in the Willard Hotel. And they were really exciting because one of the things I remember about ADA is that they never treated us like kids. They always treated us as equals. And Mrs. Roosevelt would sit in, like, at the conventions, one of the commissions, and she would turn to one of us and she would say, what courses are you taking? She would say, do you like your professor? What criticisms do you have? And she would host things in Washington, D.C. and invite us, and we went. So I learned a lot about my advocacy and activist work in ADA. As a matter of fact, I give it credit. SDA and ADA is where I learned the ropes. And as a member of SDA, one of many SDA chapters, I was lucky in being able to protest effectively about segregation in swimming pools and bowling alleys, the whole 9 yards. I mean, we were out there, ADA, the old people. I mean, we considered you, if you were 40 years old, we thought you were an old man. I really have to say that because it's true. Anyway, so we went on, and in our SDA chapters, I just want to mention some that I remember vividly, like Carl and Sandy Levin from Michigan. Now, Carl was at Swarthmore. He was a member of the Swarthmore chapter. Sandy was at the University of Chicago, who was a member of that chapter. And then there are a lot more. There was Judy Greifer, who was at Cornell. There was Alex Shackell, who was at Swarthmore. There was Hal and Sue Rosenthal, and they were in Philadelphia. And I understand Sue is no longer alive, but Hal continues to send us these email messages, which are absolutely crazy. When I say that with affection, all right? And I want to point out a couple of SDAers whom you ought to know about. One is Fritz Mondale, who went on to be the Vice President of the United States. And another is Mike Dukakis, who went on to be a candidate for the President of the United States. So there were quite a few of them. As time went on, of course, some of us, as I would say, kicked the bucket, but a few of us are still around. And we have reunions, usually in New York City, every couple of years when we think it's appropriate. But these are friendships which are long lasting. And one of the people that I really want to mention is David Rothenberg. Now, he and Mrs. Roosevelt were very good friends, and he founded an organization called the Fortune Society. This still exists, and it had a vision of helping people when they got out of jail become productive citizens. Now, also, over the years, I remember Don Fraser. He was the mayor of Minneapolis, then he ran for Congress, and he used to tell us, when in doubt, these were his words, do the right thing. Remember, when in doubt, do the right thing. And then there was Patsy Mink. She was a congresswoman from Hawaii, and she was a woman. And one of the things I want to mention about ADA is that it was one of the few organizations which was open to tapping into the talents of its women members. And some of these women are really outstanding, like Evie Dubrow, who was a lobbyist for the ILG in Washington, D.C. And there are wonderful stories about her. There was Addie Wyatt, who was in Illinois. She was with the packing house workers. There was Lily Jeffries, who was from some town in the Midwest. But there were a whole group of them who served as role models for us. Now, in ADA, when Marvy and I came to New York, we joined the New York City ADA chapter. We became very active. The chapter did a whole lot of things. Ultimately, I became the chair of the employment committee of ADA and CORE, because Marvy, my husband, my deceased husband, was wonderful, very different from me. Marvy was calm and steady, where I am out front there, making noise and being visible. Okay. And Marvy learned a lot about raising money as a result of his affiliation in ADA, which helped a whole lot with CORE in the 1960s, because he was responsible for all the money raising. And CORE made a valuable, extraordinary contribution to making our society a better place. And let me jump up. My time is almost up, maybe. I want to talk about today, because ADA is very much alive. And people say to me, well, is it still around? Yes, It's still around. There are some chapters. I can only talk about the New York City chapter, of which I continue to be the executive director, and where I'm not doing as good a job as I should because I am very busy doing one of the things that ADA touts, which is building coalitions and being active. Most of our members are older. None of them are as old as I am. You have to remember, I'm 91. So I don't normally tell my age, but we are in a fight, the fight of our lives. And the Congresswoman from Michigan, Debbie Dingell, is on our side because we're looking for Medicare for all. And right now, some of the unions in New York City are on the other side. They're trying to push us into a Medicare Advantage program, which will deny and delay us care. So we're in the fight of our lives, and I'm in the middle of it representing ADA. And let me tell you, we have won some major victories against the mayor. We've taken him to court 7 times. We've won 6 times. 1 is pending, okay? We are out there on the picket lines. We are cajoling the press. We are in it to win it. And had I more time, I would give you more information. So, in conclusion, ADA is in a position now, I believe, at 91, to continue to make a stellar contribution. I need not tell you what you already know. Our democracy is under attack. It appears that those of us who can do the best job are wavering in terms of our support for the candidate who will best fight and defeat Trump. We will get our show together, I believe, and ADA will be in the forefront of that. The union movement is in big trouble and is coming around to understand that the new, younger people are taking the lead. I'm talking about the Starbucks workers, the Amazon workers, the laundry workers, the home attendants, the cleaning ladies. There's a new feeling of anticipation and opportunity, and ADA is going to take advantage of that. So let me conclude as I began. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, it's Connie Schultz, coming once again to you from our home in Cleveland, Ohio. It is my honor to introduce Eugene Robinson, this year's recipient for your Journalism Award, and what a worthy recipient he is. I'm not going to list for you all the awards that Eugene has won and all the recognition that he has earned over the years, because we all know this about Eugene already. What I would like to do is share a story about Eugene that I think, at least for me, illustrates just who he is and is the reason I admire him so much. A few years ago, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which year it was, Eugene and I ended up sitting side by side in the makeup room. We were getting ready to do television hits. I believe it was for MSNBC. And so we got to talking because, you know, that's what columnists do. I don't mean we are the exception. Most people do that, but we really have a lot of things to talk about whenever we're in the same room together. And I wanted to let Eugene take the lead because I was really curious what was on his mind. And so, of course, we did what we always do when one is talking to Eugene Robinson. We span the wide range of issues, the wide open world of living. We talked about grandchildren. We talked about our kids. We talked about the country and our concerns for where it was headed. We talked about our role in that and what is it exactly we should be doing as columnists in that moment in time. I remember we also talked about the quality of water in West Virginia, as that had been an ongoing problem during that time. My point here is that when you're with Eugene Robinson, there are no boundaries in terms of what we should be concerned about, because all of it matters. And that is both the challenge and the gift for a columnist. And Eugene has such a beautiful way of weaving together the many themes of living in America and living in this world. And so, Eugene, I don't know if you're going to see this, but I want to thank you for one specific reason that came out of that conversation. I can't quote you exactly because I didn't write it down, but I recall to this day walking out of that room thinking, Eugene is right. Silence is never an option, and it is our job to do whatever we can to keep the conversation going. So congratulations, friend.
Thank you so much for this honor. It is humbling coming from ADA with its long, rich history of advocacy and of action in defense of our democracy. I am truly humbled and inspired by your generosity in recognizing my work. So thank you once again, and everyone, right now, let's get back to work because we have a lot of work to do between now and Election Day. We all know what we have to do, and even if we're not quite sure at the moment exactly how we're going to do it, we know that we will, because the stakes are so high. In 2 years, we will mark 250 years of American democracy. If we're lucky, we got to get there, and getting there starts now. So thank you once again, and I will treasure and draw strength from this recognition as we go forward. Thank you.
When I was a young boy, my dad said to me, when you're 17, you're on your own, work in the factory. That's the way it was with him. He didn't know another way to be. That's life like it was on the banks of Lake Erie. Sweet Lorraine, smokestacks calling me. Sweet Lorraine, calling me. But Mom, she had a different plan. Said schooling was the thing for me. You don't want to spend your life working in the factory. Go on and get out of this place. See what you can be. That's life like it was on the banks of Lake Erie. Sweet Lorraine, smokestacks calling me. Sweet Lorraine, calling me. Years have gone by, I still think about those days. Local 1104, the mills and all the haze. The stories I tell my kids, they wanna go and see. Life like it was on the banks of Lake Erie. Sweet Lorraine, smokestacks calling me. Sweet Lorraine, calling me. Sweet Lorraine, smokestacks calling me. Sweet Lorraine, calling me.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we gather to honor and congratulate 5 individuals who have shown unwavering dedication and commitment to the Democratic Party and the fight for democracy. Your tireless work and constant efforts have not gone unnoticed, and it's with great pleasure that we recognize your contributions. In a world where democracy is not just a concept, but a call to action, each of you has stood firm in your beliefs and worked tirelessly to uphold the values that we all hold dear. Your passion, resilience, and relentless pursuit of social justice is an inspiration to us all. Your hard work is a testament to the power of collective action and unity in the face of adversity. Through your actions, you have shown that together we can overcome challenges and create positive change in our communities. This evening, we celebrate and honor each one of you for your outstanding commitment to our country. Brian Bryant, Eugene Robinson, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, Dr. Evelyn Jones Rich, and Kurt Meyer. Your dedication serves as a guiding light for us all, reminding us of the importance of our shared values and our duty to protect our democracy. Thank you for your tireless work, your unwavering dedication, your fierce advocacy. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. Your efforts make a difference, and they inspire us all to continue the fight for a better, more just world. Together, we will continue to work towards a future where democracy thrives and justice prevails. Good night, everyone, and enjoy your evening.
I'm so happy to join in celebrating Debbie Dingell as this year's awardee of the Francis Scott Perkins Award, and to congratulate ADA for making such an outstanding pick once again. You know, Debbie, you represent everything that Frances Perkins fought for in her career, and you do it personally, from your own experience, like a person who as a young girl was subjected to the threat of gun violence, and you've never forgotten. And so you fight for sensible gun reform and safety for all of us. Someone who had substance abuse in her own family and fights for humane policies and treatment so that everyone can deal with the scourge of this substance abuse epidemic we face in our country. You do it as a Detroiter, fighting for progressive industrial policy, for our auto industry, and for good union jobs for everybody. You do it as a proud feminist, fighting for reproductive rights for all, fighting for everyone to have what we all need, childcare, job training, etc., so that everybody can make their best contribution to our economy. So Debbie, hats off to you, my friend, as always, but really hats off also to the ADA for always standing for peace, justice, and economic prosperity that's shared by everyone, as symbolized by the work of my sister, Debbie Dingell.
It's Congresswoman Debbie Dingell from Michigan's 6th District. I cannot tell you how much this award means to me, and to have the award named after one of my heroes. I am here where I am today because of the women that went before me, who put their hands out and helped us up the stairs, who opened those doors wider. And Frances Perkins was one of the leaders, was one of the first people to ever open those doors and make it possible for all of us. She shattered glass ceilings in innumerable ways and paved the way for future generations of women public servants. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. We have to continue her legacy of advocating for working Americans, because when our workers are strong and when they're supported, America is better off. You know, just a few weeks ago, President Biden announced that over 1 million workers and retirees have been protected under the Butch-Lewis Act through the American Rescue Plan. This is one of the examples of the kinds of things that we need to be doing. I have a lot of people in my district that were impacted, that were losing their pensions, men who would cry in my arms. Workers won a lot this year, both in my home state of Michigan and across the country. We got a lot of work to do to support workers in all fields, from nurses and family caregivers to auto workers and firefighters. There is so much work that needs to be done. The fight is far from over. We've had wins, but we have a lot more to do. I encourage everyone here to keep fighting the good fight, to defend our freedoms and democracy. One of the other things that really worries me that we must stand up to is hate. We can't allow hate to win. People are deliberately trying to divide us. We must stand up to hate in all of its forms, whenever and wherever we see it. Remember, there is far more that unites us than there is that divides us. And when we work together, we move mountains. Thank you again for this award. It means more than I can ever tell you. And I look forward to all of the work we have to do together ahead.